Everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you are well. I am wonderful. I just returned from the final press conference of Kansas State's spring football sessions, and I got a lot of thoughts about this, but I feel like there's a really positive vibe around the program right now. And I'll explain what I'm kind of picking up from it here in just a second. But first, I got to remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, leave those comments, and of course, we're sponsored by Mailrig Golf Clothing. Go check out the link in the story, get 10% off. Everyone I've talked to who's ordered stuff loves it. Maybe you should try it too. On with the DD. Spring football is over, and it was a little bit different spring session for Kansas State. Not really rebuilding, but kind of transitioning the program to new leadership, some new playmakers, some new dudes. And that's been a big emphasis since the bowl game started, the prep for the bowl game began. And Avery Johnson was taking over at quarterback. And Chris Kleiman said today in his press conference that really helped Avery to work with some of those veteran offensive linemen who were established, and he really trusted them, and he was able to build up some confidence as a leader on this team. Keep this in mind, Avery Johnson is still a true freshman in college, and now he's being looked at as one of the top leaders in this program for Chris Kleiman and his coaches. It's absolutely remarkable what this young man is accomplishing at such a young age, and he is a natural leader. He's very calm and collected, and he works extremely hard. But other young leaders have emerged across the board. Chris Kleiman said they've already got more leaders, a strong leader at every position group established, and he said, I don't even think we had that last year. So they're making progress. But I mentioned I feel like there's a positive vibe around this program. This program seems to be transitioning into something more sustainable, long-term in terms of success. They've started to recruit at a much higher level. I don't care what the ratings say. They got a bunch of young dudes that are ready to play. They could have played last year as true freshmen, but they didn't really need them. So now they're going to be called upon this season to really get after it. And I think they will. The depth. Remember when Chris Kleiman was hired, the depth was the biggest concern, and it was really bad when he stepped in as head coach. Now they feel like they're finally getting it. And aside from having some injuries, nothing severe. They got out of spring with no severe injuries. They feel really deep at some positions, including safety and linebacker and defensive end. And, of course, they've added some more receivers. It just feels like this program's ready for the next whatever. And I get that from the fact that there's just a different type of player right now in this program. And they're still a developmental program, but they're kind of having less development needed, let's put it that way, as some of these young dudes just look ready to play. They look like grown men. And the other big change is the promotion of Clint Brown to being the director of roster management to oversee recruiting on these practices. Every spring practice basically has been attended by recruits, and usually around 30 on Saturdays, Kleiman said. They've gotten more aggressive in the recruiting space, and he also credited Curry Sexton and Wildcat NIL for really stepping up its NIL pressure, that they're now very competitive in the NIL space, and that's a really big factor nowadays in your success of your football program. The transfer portal opens early next week. We'll see what happens if anyone leaves, if they go get anyone. Chris Kleiman thinks it's going to be quiet, but you just never know. We'll find out. But this team seems pretty well established. They got some good roots to it this spring, and they're getting ready to go into the summer period of working hard and trying to get some muscle weight on. Avery Johnson shooting for 200 pounds by the first game. We'll see if he gets there. But it was an exciting spring. It was an informative spring. And I think this program is ready to go to new heights. But we'll see.